forward to working in the Diocese of CrossFit? What are some of your priorities as you get started?
As I get started, I look forward to now, as a bishop in Milwaukee, I have been involved with a lot of the grunt work. It's a lot of the administrative stuff, internal administrative stuff. I look forward now to assuming a pastoral mission as a successor to the apostles in the mission of Jesus Christ. This is the grist of what we study in terms of the priesthood. We look at, this is something that comes right to the heart of being a priest, and hits very strong in terms of what we want to do. So my ministry, yes, to live and to work as best as I can with the people, the priests first of all, of course, and then with the people of God here in the diocese. Looking forward to our work together to increase the knowledge of Jesus Christ, the celebration of the sacraments, the participation in the life of grace, to continue the mission of the church, to forward and advance as much as we possibly can. Excuse me, I have probably a very bad post-nasal drip today. The weather isn't helping me, so I apologize. But to truly serve the church as best as I can by building up the sense of holiness, the sense of work, the spiritual and corporal works of mercy are very important to me. So they are going to be definitely a part of the stewardship that I look forward to, that I will try to image by my own example, but that I will certainly strive to call forth in the gifts of this local church. So I think that the opportunity to actually minister as a bishop, I think is going to be probably the most significant and important that I can offer to the diocese.
So you anticipate any kind of a learning curve in terms of real life issues?
Yes, boy, do I ever. I was just thinking that the learning curve that I've had, over the past 2.5 years, they talk about a learning curve. I have yet to discover where it starts to curve. It's just straight up. And every single day you think, well, okay, I've learned something today. Well, learning something opens up a whole bunch of more things that you have to learn. And I have every reason to believe that the learning curve for becoming a diocesan bishop will be every bit as, the trajectory will be every bit as strong. But I look forward. I'm a big believer in shared responsibility and shared ministry. So I will be leaning heavily upon the experience and the talents and gifts of people like Monsignor Gillis, who have already put forth the effort and energy to teach me and to instruct me about things that are going on in the diocese. And I will be looking forward to hearing from, first again, as the priests are my first collaborators in the diocese. So I'll be listening to them, helping them and listening to them for the ways in which I grow. And then as well to hear from the faithful laity, because the lay people of God, each of us shares the priesthood of Jesus Christ by virtue of baptism. But each of us is called to be able to preach and to live the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so whether we are priest, whether we are deacon, whether we are consecrated religious, whether we are consecrated virgin, whatever the situation may be, each and every one of us is called to live the gospel, to teach the gospel, to preach the gospel. So my job is to energize that message and to keep that going in terms of the work that's necessary. So yeah, the learning curve will be steep. Yes, sir.
I understand you are one of the first of the religious order of priests to become a bishop. Can you talk in the U.S. anyway?
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yes, thanks again. I am a conventual Franciscan priest. And what that means is I belong to a religious order. So I belong to the Franciscan community. As a Franciscan, we take vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. When I became a bishop, my vow of poverty was suspended simply because of the fact that as bishop we do sign contracts and titles for things which would require some ability to ownership of things in our own name. So my vow of poverty was suspended. My vow of obedience was no longer a vow of obedience to my religious superior, my provincial superior, but my vow of obedience as a bishop is directly to the Holy Father in Rome. And my vow of chastity obviously remains in effect. And I have no intention of hedging on that in any way at all, so I don't have to worry about that. What happens also, though, when a religious becomes a bishop is that he loses what is called active and passive voice, meaning that he can no longer be named to any office within the religious community, nor can he vote for anyone to have an office within the community. So a couple of weeks ago, my province had a chapter meeting. It was the first chapter meeting since 1975 at which I was not present. And so it was a very interesting kind of thing. Of course, I reviewed a lot of the meeting, and unaccustomed as I am, certainly offered my opinion. but that's pretty much the thing. I remain a religious, obviously, in terms of my profession. Being a Franciscan, however, I see how is that going to affect you. My Franciscan spirituality is what's going to, I certainly hope, is what's going to be a benefit for our diocese. The ability to be able to see, as Francis of Assisi did. Francis of Assisi is a very wonderful man of vision for the church. Take him out of the bird baths and all that sort of thing. Francis has a tremendous vision for the church. Big, 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 big. And that's what you got to think when you think of the church. Big. Think of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Think of how liberating that is. Think of what an incredible thing it is that God has become a man with us, shares this human frame. That's Franciscan. And when you start thinking about the image of God among us, that's the church. And that is the presence of the living Christ among us. And that's what energizes the church. We're not practitioners of some dead rituals or some dead philosophy or some political action or whatever. We are members of the church, the living presence of Jesus Christ. And in all things, that is what prevails. So that's the centerpiece of Franciscan spirituality. It's the centerpiece of Christian spirituality. It is the centerpiece of my personal spirituality as a priest and as a bishop. So I'm very happy. Thanks very much for the question.
Bishop?
Yes, sir.